This video's random fact is, according to research from King's College London, people with a lot of moles tend to age more slowly than people without them. The more you know. When it comes to the Nintendo Switch over the past 2 years has gotten a lot of support, whether you're talking about from Nintendo or third parties. We have a lot of good games on the Nintendo Switch, whether you're talking about games like Super Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Mario Tennis, Super Mario Party, and then we have third-party games like Wolfenstein 2, Diablo 3, Skyrim, Rocket League, Stardew Valley. We just have so many great games on the Nintendo Switch. And here comes another game to add to that arsenal. It's Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is one of the biggest games of 2018, and a lot of people are excited for this release. How did this game hold up, and was this game a worthy game, and was it worth your time and effort to buy Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? Well, I must say I played this game now roughly about 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 hours. I put in a ton of hours into this game. I actually remember when the launch of this game came out last Friday. I actually sat down and played this for 24 hours non-stop. I was just too excited to play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And then when I had something to do during the day, I would just pop up my Nintendo Switch from the dock and take Super Smash Bros. On the go. That's something that's so great about the Nintendo Switch, is the fact that you can take your games on the go. And we're not talking about little handheld games like a 3DS or a Vita. We're talking about console quality experiences on the go. And it's just so amazing that the Nintendo Switch can do all that. And honestly, if you ask me right now, as the recording of this video, putting in so many hours into this game, I can safely say this game, for me personally, definitely lives up to the hype. This is everything I wanted out of a Smash Brothers game. I definitely think this Smash Brothers game is definitely the best Smash Brothers games to date, and that's absolutely good news. That means I can put my Wii U to the side, because that's pretty much what's been keeping my Wii U alive right now. It's pretty much been on life support since Super Smash Bros. Was never released on the Nintendo Switch up until now, and honestly, I love every aspect of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. But I gotta keep it real with you guys. I did not play the World of Light mode in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's not that the single player content is bad or anything like that. It just really boils down to me personally. I'm more the competitive type of person. All I really want to do with a Smash Brothers game is sit down, go online, play somebody locally, play 1v1s, play a competitive matches, and beat the living crap out of people, whether we're talking about, like I said, local or online co-op. So I haven't touched that mode, quite frankly, but I can kind of give you a summary and kind of tell you guys what my opinions are of that mode, even though I haven't actually played that mode. I've been watching streams of people play that mode. I've been looking up videos online of that mode and things like that. It's pretty much one of the meatiest campaigns we've had in a Super Smash Bros. Game. The last one that was super meaty was the one back on the original Wii. It was called Subspace Emissary, or whatever it's called. That one was a single player campaign for Smash Brothers. It pretty much had a lot of cutscenes in it. It had a lot of different things in it. But for this Smash Brothers, they kind of made it more focused on the actual combat in the single player campaign in World of Light. You're pretty much on this board, and while you're on this board, you're pretty much going around collecting spirits, and you're supposed to level up these spirits and play with these spirits, and they pretty much change the way the game works. And the game, from what I've seen, World of Light is a very long, lengthy single-player campaign. I think someone said it'll take you 20 plus hours to beat that, and I can definitely say that's probably the case, because it's just so long. The map keeps opening up every time you walk around the board. So this is not a small single-player experience. I heard from a lot of users out there that the Subspace Emissary mode, or excuse me, the World of Light mode, I'm thinking about the original Wii right now for some reason, forget that. But going back to World of Light mode in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I really think that mode is a pretty good mode. Yes, there's cons and there's pros of that mode, but I don't think it's all that bad. I think it's something that you should definitely check out. I heard one reason to actually go ahead and finish that mode is because the final ending to that is actually epic, and it's worth your time and effort, even though the grind may be repetitive, even though it may be very long. So a lot of people are saying it's worth it to finish it to the end. There's actually something you do unlock at the end of World of Light. I'm not going to spoil it here in this video, but there is something you can unlock. It's not really amazing or anything like that, but I just wanted to point it out. There is something that you do unlock for beating the World of Light mode, and the World of Light mode is worth playing also for another reason, for a lot of video game history. If you're really into video game history and you want a lot of Easter eggs, you just want a lot of throwbacks to some franchises in Nintendo's history and just different franchises and things like that, then it's definitely worth your time and effort to check out that mode, because the spirits are kind of like these little trophies, like in past Super Smash Brothers game. Instead of having an encyclopedia of trophies, you have the World of Light mode, the whole spirits. If you really love video game history, you literally love everything about video games, then it's definitely worth your time and effort to play World of Light. Now, outside of World of Light, we do have some other content in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, like for instance, the adventure mode is back, or whatever that mode is called, where you pretty much play different predetermined matches with CPU opponents. It's called classic mode. I was trying to think there for a second what the actual mode was called in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, each character does have their own individual pass when it comes to the classic mode in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So when you replay it with the same character, you're going to get the same outcome, unfortunately, because they don't try to mix it up with each character. The path is always going to be the same, and you're always going to be playing the same character, unfortunately. But the good news is everybody has their own path, and it's kind of cool to see how each character kind of plays in the classic mode, because they try to tailor the matches around that character specifically. Like for instance, you may be playing I think Ryu, and each Ryu match is going to be a 1v1 match. It's trying to simulate Street Fighter matches, which I thought was very cool. And then I think Kirby matches with Yoshi. I think you do Yoshi, so it's pretty much every character who has a tongue and can suck up stuff or eat stuff. That's pretty much who you're going to be facing in that mode. So it's kind of cool to see what type of characters they put you against, because they try to make it cool like that. And I thought that was actually quite neat. Instead of just throwing you into random classic battles with just random characters, they try to pair up each character with something that's specific to them or specific to their franchise, which I love. One thing I didn't love about classic mode was the fact that breaking the targets is back, or whatever it's called, but this one's just really weak and really repetitive, and everybody in the roster has the same one. That thing should have been cut out of classic mode altogether. That's just stupid, and it's just junk. I think everyone's going to agree with me. There's just really no point of having that thing in classic mode. And at the end of each classic mode run, you will get to face a boss. There's not a lot of bosses, and a lot of people have the same boss when it comes to classic mode, unfortunately, but you will find some unique ones in the roster. It's not totally generic and totally boring, so look out for that. Overall, I love classic mode, and I think classic mode is something to mess around with in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Outside of that, of course, you just have your basic standard Super Smash Bros. Ultimate fighting. You can play Smash matches with the CPU. You can play matches locally. You can also play matches online, and most of my time with this game has been spent online, playing people online. And let's talk about the online aspect of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, because there's actually quite a lot about online that I want to talk about. First off, I'm going to say it right now, I'm actually quite disappointed how Nintendo's handling the online for this game. First off, you shouldn't be surprised about this if you played a previous Smash Brothers game online, but there is quite some lag online no matter what, depending on what match you get. Even if you get really good matches online, you're still going to get some kind of input delay or input lag when it comes to the Nintendo Switch's online service. Nintendo's not really good when it comes to online services for pretty much any of their games, and the worst culprit definitely has to be the Smash series. The Smash series has always got the shaft when it comes to the online capabilities. They've never been all that good. Nintendo definitely recommends you get a LAN adapter with your Nintendo Switch. Back when the Nintendo Switch first came out, I think a couple of months after I got my Switch, I actually ended up picking up a LAN adapter. The LAN adapter will help you somewhat, but it doesn't help also that the fact this game doesn't use dedicated servers. It still uses those peer-to-peer connections, so you're pretty much connecting to someone else's internet connection, and if someone else's internet connection is not that good at all, then you're going to end up getting lag no matter what. And it really does suck that Nintendo really can't figure out the online situation when it comes to playing games without any latency or any lag online. So keep a lookout for that. But there is one other thing that really disappoints me with the online aspect of this game. Is this a deal breaker for me? Nope, it's not a deal breaker for me. I'll keep playing Smash Brothers whether this is a bad thing or not, I'll keep playing it. But basically, I'm not the only one complaining here. A lot of people on the internet are pretty much complaining about how the fact that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, unlike the Wii U and 3DS version, doesn't have dedicated lobbies. So you can't do for fun, you can't do for glory, you can't play strictly 1v1 matches. And for me personally, it sucks because all I want to do online is play 1v1s with random strangers. I don't want to be forced into these free-for-all matches with other people online. They do have preferred rules when you do quick play or when you do matchmaking on the game, but unfortunately it just disregards your settings altogether. You can see on the video I have 1v1 enabled. I have Battlefield Arenas, I think, stock game and things like that, but it'll just disregard your rules for whatever the case may be, and a lot of times you will be stuck playing free-for-all matches. I think it goes for the same thing with people who just want to play free-for-all matches and don't typically care about playing competitive 1v1 matches. I think they're also gonna get 1v1 matches, so that pretty much sucks that you're not guaranteed whatever mode you want to play online. You can go to the Battle Arena. Yes, the Battle Arena will guarantee you 1v1 matches, but the problem with the Battle Arena is the fact that the Battle Arena, you have to wait for your matches, and if there's a lot of people in the Battle Arena, it's just really too slow to wait for matches in the Battle Arena. So unfortunately, you got to play some random ass matches with the random ass rules. Play free for all, play 1v1. Sometimes it'll give you 1v1s, and when it does give you 1v1s, well, guess what, people? You just can't play 1v1. They have to put items in it as well. So overall, the online for this game is just very inconsistent. It's just not polished because it's laggy, and you don't have dedicated servers. I mean, yeah, we don't have dedicated servers, but we don't have dedicated lobbies as well. If they would have just made dedicated lobbies like the Wii U and 3DS one, we would have been fine online, personally. But there's enough 1v1 matches and enough times that you will get your preferred rules that it's really not a big deal, but it's still something to talk about since a lot of people are complaining about this. You can look around the internet and a lot of people aren't happy about the way that they handle the online situation for Smash Bros. Ultimate. And on top of that, you do have to realize we have every right to complain here because we're not getting this for free. If we were getting this for free, it'd be another situation. But now, since we have to pay for online from Nintendo, we have every right to complain. So overall, what do I think of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? Honestly, if you ask me personally, I think it's the best multiplayer game on the Nintendo Switch as of right now. I know that's really a big, bold statement to say since there's a lot of multiplayer games on the Nintendo Switch, whether we're talking about Mario Kart, Splatoon, Diablo, Mario Party, Mario Tennis. There are just so many good offerings on the Nintendo Switch. But honestly, if you ask me, I think this is one game on the Nintendo Switch you definitely don't want to miss out on, and I think it's worth every penny of $60. Or even if you're not a fighting fan here, I think there's something for everyone, whether we're talking about the competitive aspect of Smash Brothers, whether we're talking about the casual aspect of Super Smash Brothers. There's just something to love about Super Smash Brothers. You can also kind of think of Smash Brothers as kind of a gallery of Nintendo history or even gaming history as a whole. When you go into Smash Brothers, you can see that there's a lot of love and care put into Smash Brothers, and they really want you to feel like you're in a video game land because there's so many stages to play in this game, so many characters, so much music in the game. There are just so many items that are based around video games that if you really love Nintendo history or if you really love video games in general, then you're really going to get a really good tingly feeling out of this game because there's just so much content in this game. That's also why they call it Ultimate, with I think 70 plus characters in the game, 108 stages in the game, and of course we're going to be getting DLC already confirmed. We're going to be getting more characters, more stages, more music. There's almost so much content in this game. It's going to take you a long time to try out everything in this game, and there's so many different modes. They've also added new modes to this game like Squad Strike. Squad Strike is pretty much a team-based mode where you have a team of 3 or 5 different people, and you pretty much just pick a different team, and each time a person dies you get to move on to the next person in line. I thought that was actually a brilliant idea. I think that was actually already on the Wii U version of the game. In the board game aspect they had something like that, so it's nice they actually moved that over. I think that's a very cool thing about this game, the Squad Strike mode on this game. And there's some other different little touches that weren't in other Super Smash Brothers games, like for instance the way the Smash Ball works now is a little bit different. You can have it a traditional Smash Ball where everybody's trying trying to smash the smash ball to get your special. Or what you can do now is you can actually add a bar to the bottom of the screen, and every time you hit, it pretty much fills up, and once you fill up your bar, you can unleash your smash attack. So that's pretty new. And of course, there's a lot of different things that are new to this game. I can't tell you every single thing in this video, or it would just take way too long. But overall, I love the Smash Brothers series. Coming from a Smash Brothers veteran that grew up with Melee and loved everything about Super Smash Brothers, this is definitely my favorite Super Smash Brothers game to date. And honestly, I don't even know why I'm making this video right now. I should actually be playing the game at this very moment because I've been super addicted to this game. This is pretty much everything I wanted out of this game, and I'm just the biggest Super Smash Brothers fan. Honestly, I'm gonna say it right now in this video, if you guys didn't know, I think Super Smash Brothers series in general is definitely my favorite multiplayer game of all time. I know that's also a really big bold statement to say that this is my favorite multiplayer game of all time, but I've always been a big Super Smash Brothers fan. I just love the way the mechanics work of the game. I just love Nintendo in general. I just love everything about Super Smash Brothers. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest here as well. If Super Smash Bros. Was a generic fighter like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, where you're in a closed arena with a health bar and you try to see who winnows down the health bar, then maybe I wouldn't be so much a fan of Super Smash Bros. I just love the fact that Super Smash Bros. Is definitely one of the most unique fighting games out there on the market. It's pretty much you and another person on a stage, and your whole point is to rack up percentage. And as you're racking up percentage, you can actually start flying farther, and the more damage you put on means the more farther fly. And then pretty soon, once you rack up enough damage, when you hit them, they'll fly completely off the stage. There's dead zones on the stage, and that's pretty much how you kill people. You have to knock them off the stage, and that's something we've never seen in another fighting game. There's probably one out there, a clone, but I think this was the original one and the original idea, so it's definitely very unique. And on top of that, I think this is the only multiplayer game, as far as I'm aware, that supports up to 8 people. So if you have a group of 8 people, you can play 8 people. Don't know how well this will fare on the Nintendo Switch in handheld mode. I'm assuming that won't be the greatest experience out there, just because we know the Switch screen is not all that big, and with 8 players, it would probably not help. And on top of that, there is one thing I did forget to mention about Smash Brothers Ultimate: the fact that for some odd reason they forgot to put. For some odd reason, when you hit people in this game, you have a dust cloud or a smoke cloud, and with 8 people on it, or even 4 people on it, it can get very chaotic very quickly, and sometimes it's hard to see your character. And on top of that, I forgot to actually mention in this video, talking about that little piece, I forgot to talk about why I love this game so much. I actually love the mechanics of the game. This game plays nothing like any other Smash Bros. Game out there. It's not as fast as Melee, and it's not as slow as Brawl. It's actually faster than Smash, Wii U, and 3DS, but it is a fairly fast game. And one thing I love about this game is when you actually hit people in this game, you actually get good, solid knockback. And I actually tried to go back to Super Smash Bros. Wii U, and I played that, and yes, it is definitely more satisfying to hit people in this game. You get really good verification when you hit somebody. The sounds is really good. Overall, I just love the engine way more better here than I did on the Wii U version of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Honestly, this video is going around 18, 19, 20 minutes at this point. I can keep on rambling my head off about how much I love Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but why am I doing that? You guys already know this is going to be the best game for the holiday season. A lot of people are going to be picking this game up, and I highly recommend picking this game up, and definitely worth every penny of $60. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne from My Tech News, signing out. Boop.